Birthday wish to pass along Clarence Maupin of Scottsbluff. Happy birthday to you. Brought to you by Intralinks. Here's Kevin Mooney.
Thank you, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. Again, we're our guest today, Scottsbluff Superintendent Rick Myles. We're going to talk about what's going on with the school district during the next year. A lot of things, as a matter of fact. And I guess the first thing we need to talk about is this federal grant that you guys are going to apply for the Career Connect program, right?
Well, I think, Kevin, we have such unique circumstances in this community because of all the support that we have. And I have never been in a high school community, in a school community, anywhere that there was so much support, so much involvement. And with this particular opportunity, it's focused on the high school. It's focused on ensuring that our kids graduate with a sense of what they're going to do next. And I think many of us as adults, we look back on those days when we graduated from high school and we knew we wanted to graduate. And in broad terms, maybe we knew what we were going to do next, but we often didn't know why. I know I certainly didn't at the time. So the other piece of that I've never seen anything like is the strong partnership with WNCC. And the people out there, they literally say we will do anything, and then they follow through for our kids, and they can provide so many opportunities. So it was a natural partnership, and the more that we've dug into it, we thought, we are such a perfect match for this kind of opportunity. We've got to use this really as a jump start on just applying for grants in general. We've got to get aggressive with grants, and I think we're going to just start on that path and keep pushing and keep pushing.
All right. Now, the idea of this particular program, if I'm not mistaken, is for the school district to have some career academies, maybe internships with businesses, and give kids an opportunity to get dual credit classes with WNCC, that type of thing, right?
Yeah, there's already a great foundation at the school with the career academies and the involvement with colleges and community and so forth. What the big push with this grant is that it's every single kid. And whether it's a student who's planning on going to MIT and being a astronomer, or somebody that wants to go into law or medicine or a profession like that, or it's somebody who wants to go to a trade, or it's somebody who wants to immediately go into the military, the more skills a student has and the more credentials they have, the more successful they'll be.
Yeah. So, it kind of matches with some of your alternative programs where you've got kids that maybe need a little bit different way of being educated in order to get the full potential from those students, right?
We just have to acknowledge some realities in the community, and I think a lot of that is being raised with the call to action meetings and so forth that a lot of our community leaders are discussing. And it's how do you not only ensure that kids are successful, but how do you make sure that they reach their potential and they thrive? Every single kid has the potential to thrive and have a wonderful, successful, achieving future, and that's what we want to work toward. And a lot of it begins and ends really with what are you going to do basically to earn a living? How are you going to get by as an adult and be successful, contribute, and stay in the community and be a part of the community's future too?
Yeah. Like you mentioned, in high school anymore, it's not like when we were there. Kids need to kind of have at least a little bit of an idea what they're going to do, right? Because for some of them, maybe they go out of high school, go to a trade school or have a trade, and they can develop a good career with that. A lot of people go to college, but we want them to have some idea what they're going to do, right?
Well, it's about goals, about having goals, having dreams. In fact, you mentioned an alternative program, Choices has been doing great. We're excited about it, and the kids are doing just great. But the criteria in the interviews and admission, the only real key criteria was that a student has some goals and some dreams. And if you've got goals and dreams, then we can help you get there. And every one of those kids right now in the program has to focus on what do I want to do? What's my future going to be? And that's become, I think, a real important part of education in general.
All right. We'll take a break, talk about facilities and some of the successes at Scottsbluff right after this.
Wireless computer network secured with their years of professional service. You can trust Intralinks technical solutions to keep your small or medium business
Should've got some
computer
water
system
before
up
we
and
started.
running.
You often should have.
Wireless network can put your computers at risk. Intralinks at 632-6590 to have one of their highly experienced techs set up, troubleshoot, and secure your wireless network. For weekly tips and information, friend Intralinks on Facebook at intralinks.net/Facebook.
We are back on News Extra. Scottsbluff Superintendent Rick Myles with us today. We've talked about the new Career Connect program that the school has and some of the alternative programs at Scottsbluff High. Now we want to discuss a little bit about facilities, and you guys are in the process of doing a study, especially regarding the high school and even all the other schools, although a lot of things have been done with the other schools, but specifically the high school regarding what kind of updates we need at that particular school, right?
Well, I know when school districts talk about these things, it makes everybody nervous. It's like
Yeah.
it's like your neighborhood's going to have a new assessment on the streets, or what's the latest fee or tax coming around, and that's not what this is about. This is about making sure that we know what we've got, what we need to do, make sure the community knows that as well. We are concerned about the high school. It was built in 1961. There's a lot of issues with the facility we know we've got to get on. So the Board of Education is focusing on right now, how can we, over the course of the next 12 to 15 years, do the things that are necessary for that school so it'll be functional for the next 30 years. And that's what we're working on. It has a lot to do not only with scope of project, but also with how do you start pecking away at the general fund to pull the money out so that you can finance the necessary work. Elementary schools we're looking at right now. Baker and Associates, local company, of course, has turned out to be a great outcome of the request for proposals we did with facilities assessment. And Baker's going through all the schools, and come April we'll know where our elementary schools are, and then we plan on just having conversations with the community and saying, what do you want to do? How can we attack this? What's most important? And like anything else, our job is to make sure the schools are what the community want them to be, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully maybe the high school, maybe some of the rooms a little more technology friendly, and but you even got some other things to do even past the classrooms at that high school.
A lot of it is infrastructure, and when a high school was used for 50 plus years by a lot of kids, flushing toilets and drinking water and using electricity, and it gets beat up. So this isn't about really cosmetics and convenience as much as it's about functionality. And the school wasn't necessarily initially built with the thought that it was going to be around 60 years later. And so there's things we've just got to do structurally with the school. And of course, one of the things that has come up recently is the splash.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shared facility. It needs $1 million plus just to get it where it's going to last and be safe and be functional. And that's one of those things that hopefully the community can get together. We have torpedoes, we have Gearing Public Schools, we have our own swim team, we have the city classes that are offered. So a lot of people use that facility. It happens to be on school grounds, but it's really a city facility. It's really a community facility, so we hope as we analyze all the recreational opportunities in the area that Splash receives some attention from the community at large too.
All right, real quick, successes. I've got Andrew Bartow down here, Sam Harvey.
Well, those are two examples of kids just thriving, and we talked about kids having goals, and those are a couple of examples of kids who have really achieved at high levels. And you got to look at parents, you got to look at teachers, you got to look at a whole community when you see that kind of success. And yeah, those are great guys, and there's so many that we see that we're so proud of.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Rick. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Kevin.
You bet.